Hello and welcome to Fire Walk with Us, episode 11. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.
So enthusiastic, Justin.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to be a bit more?
Anyway, this week we're talking about the episode Coma, the second episode of Season 2. Quick plot synopsis. While still investigating Cooper's shooting, Albert Rosenfield tells Cooper that his former partner and mentor, Wyndham Earl, has escaped from an insane asylum. Meanwhile, Donna meets the mysterious Mrs. Tremond and her weird grandson on Laura's Meals on Wheels route, who direct Donna to the home of Harold Smith, who is a special friend of Laura's. Ronna Pulaski awakens from her coma but is not responsive. With Catherine missing and presumed dead, Ben and Jerry Horn debate destroying the sawmill ledgers, while Leland apparently ruins the business deal with the Icelandic businessmen by letting slip about the sawmill fire. Andy angrily tells Lucy that he's sterile and wants an explanation as to why she's pregnant. Bobby persuades Shelley not to press domestic abuse charges against Leo now that he's brain damaged so that she can take advantage of him and live off the insurance money. At One Eye Jack's, Audrey blows her cover when she interrogates Emery Bates, I think is how you pronounce the last name, and learns how Laura came to work there and that her father is the owner of the place. Donna becomes jealous when James develops an attraction to Maddie, who has a frightening vision of Killer Bob.
Dun, dun, dun.
Major Briggs delivers a message to Cooper about the top secret work he has been doing for the U.S. government.
Some alien stuff.
They never said aliens.
Well, no.
Mostly just kind of radio wave stuff of other particular things. But, first little point, I saw the thing and it terrified me greatly.
Oh, what thing?
It was Bob coming over the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the girl
I can't
from the
remember where I particularly saw it, but that was the one particular point of Twin Peaks that I knew about.
Oh, neat.
Okay.
Oh, that's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at
You're looking at a
synopsis.
wiki on your phone.
Exactly.
It
So,
helps in certain
Yeah, because
circumstances.
I'm trying to remember everything that happened in this episode.
The one interesting thing that I decently enjoyed is the conversation that Albert and Cooper had at the very start of it with the barbershop quartet singing along with it to set the sort of mood.
Yes.
And Albert's all uninterested in all this talk about Tibet.
Yes, you'll also notice that Albert drops the name Wyndham Earl,
Yes.
who is a former partner of Cooper's.
Yes. And he broke out of an insane asylum.
Yes.
Interesting.
Do you think that's going to come up?
Well, it kind of leads a couple of particular points onto Cooper, kind of like, maybe, ooh, what? But we'll kind of have to see from there.
So, let me rephrase the question. Do we expect that we're going to see Wyndham at any point? Or is he
Maybe
just going to be
later.
something in the background that's not going to come up?
Maybe
Well, with how
later.
many new people have been introduced in the story through just these last couple of episodes, it's a possibility, but who knows? It could be another red herring that could throw people off of the stuff.
Okay. We see Donna taking over Laura's Meals on Wheels route.
One of the
And
greatest scenes in this.
she goes to visit this old lady. I can't remember her name now.
And her grandson.
Yes.
Or
and-
some little boy.
Well, no, she says it's her grandson.
Okay.
And she specifically says that she didn't ask for any creamed corn on her plate.
There was some cream corn. But then she asked again, and I was like, oh, she has to double take certain responses. And then the cream corn was gone. I was...
My grandson is studying magic.
Yeah, and the grandson is holding the creamed corn in his hands.
Yep.
On the one hand, good job, grandson. Good job. On the other hand, is it just simply magic or the Twin Peakness stuff of things?
Well, see, I know the answer to this, so I can't tell you. What do you think it is?
From your response to that, it's most likely the Twin Peak things, so things are about to get interesting.
This little boy knows a lot.
Really, you think he's going to be important later?
This little boy might be important.
Okay. What do we think is important in that scene? Do we think it's the creamed corn? Do we think it's the boy? Do we think it's the grandmother?
I think just the particular responses that the boy came up with, and the fact that he might know more than he lets on.
Wasn't he or a grandmother that knew of Mr. Smith?
No, she mentioned Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So later in the episode, we find out that Andy is sterile, which gives us a reason for him being a little upset when Lucy said she was pregnant.
Yeah. Also, he's not very good with tape.
No, he isn't. He is this glob of... I don't even know what there's like loop of tape on his head, and it's pretty great.
It wasn't as bad as all the rest of the tape that his hands were all caught up in.
I don't even know how that happened.
It's Andy. That's how.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, sure.
We see Leland react to a poster of Bob.
Yes.
He knows Bob.
Yes, he knows Bob. They used to have a cabin next door to Leland's family.
The gasp.
There's a quote in this episode that I thought was quite important. I believe it's from Jerry Horn. He says, "Is this real or some strange and twisted dream?"
No, I do remember him saying that. Wasn't that a particular thing that was said earlier on in the series?
Please don't make this entire series a strange and twisted dream, though. That'd be a terrible way to end the series.
Of course, some series
Apparently,
have done
Laura
that.
Palmer's
so.
not actually dead or something. That would be an awful end.
So I don't know if that exact quote has been used before, but they've definitely referenced dreams a lot.
Well, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
But now, Justin, you immediately jumped to this whole series is a dream.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how possible do you think that is?
I want to say a 1.
Okay.
What do you think? What are you thinking in your head?
I'm like, please don't make that the end of the series.
Kind of sitting somewhere at 5 and hoping it doesn't go any higher.
Where are you thinking?
It's within the realm of possibility, but who knows what they're gonna do with it.
It's in the realm of stupidity.
With how it sort of sits with me, it's probably sitting around 3-ish, but with
Would
Twin
make me
Peaks, I
mad.
wouldn't put it by them for taking that route.
Okay. We also find out Major Briggs goes to visit Cooper.
Wah.
And he shows him, he basically reveals some stuff about his work for the government.
Listening to them radio waves from the atom of space.
Yes.
The owls are not what they seem. Cooper,
Yes.
Cooper.
Right when Cooper got shot, they got a message that said the owls are not what they seem. And then a couple hours later, they kept getting the message Cooper.
Cooper. Cooper.
This wasn't the owls, this was from outer space, David.
What if the owls are in space?
Dun dun dun. So what do we think is the significance of that?
It's another particular point that the giant brought up.
It is.
So it could mean that the giant's an alien.
I was just going to say, do we think that they're going to start bringing aliens into the series?
Well, maybe. Or maybe the boy is also an alien. The grandson.
That seems a bit like a far stretch, honestly.
Okay.
I wouldn't think it is.
Mostly, I think it's just kind of the radio waves have some sort of particular significance. So, some sort of radio broadcasting thing could supposedly be to blame, but again, who's really sure?
It's totally just a coincidence.
Yeah.
So we get arguably one of the more, depending on who you are, it's potentially one of the scariest scenes in the series.
No.
Oh, the one with Bob?
Yes.
And
Maddie seeing Bob climbing over the couch.
Well, technically, around the corner,
Well,
past the
yeah.
poles, over the couch, over everything else, saying, "Hello!"
And it gets right up on that camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
no need for a zoom in. I could do it myself.
So what do we think the significance of this is? Because this is the first time that we've seen Bob where somebody isn't either in a like extreme emotional distress or like unconscious or dreaming.
This is also inside the same house.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
I
This
thought
is
it
at
was.
Donna's house.
Oh, this is at Donna's house? Oh, I
Yes.
thought it was at Maddie's. Oh.
If that is the case, it sort of relates to the point that specific people now are having incidences of seeing Bob in certain locations.
And if you'll notice, most of them are from Laura's family,
Yes.
I've noticed.
with
Yes.
the exception of Cooper.
More so yes.
The other possibility is we know that the people who have seen Bob have either been under emotional distress or sleeping / unconscious. So maybe there's something that Maddie hasn't revealed to us yet.
Probably.
Why she
That
left,
she mi-
why she came to Twin Peaks.
Like she has some supposed condition.
Or that there was a reason that she came to Twin Peaks. Because she said she came for the funeral, but she stuck around for a while now.
She
Yeah.
probably lives there. Technically.
Well, maybe
I wouldn't
now,
say
but
that much.
Well, yeah, but like maybe she had lived the double life with Laura Palmer or something. Who knows?
Nah.
That's a possibility, I would say.
Meh.
later in the episode we get a shot of Bob with the owl face superimposed kind of thing. Which is...
Symbolic of sorts?
Do we have any thoughts on what that might be about?
Bob controls the owls.
Okay. Justin, any thoughts?
The owls are Bob? I don't...
That's a possibility. And finally, we get Audrey making a phone call to Cooper.
Yeah, she getting kind of a little desperate, but sadly that not best option. Yeah.
Yes. Alright, so what did you two learn in this episode?
Things the Giant are saying are still coming true.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Points of importance are still being shown. Kind of muddling up the pictures of certain things of the stuff.
Okay.
As it is, it kind of seems that every single track is leading farther and farther away from getting to the main point of the series from what it seems.
Okay, so what do you think the main point of the series is?
Is it finding out her death or who killed her?
Well, now if we remember back to... I don't remember if it was the first episode or if it was one of the early ones. I mentioned that David Lynch's idea was to never reveal the killer.
Bah.
So, I'm probably going to think that Laura Palmer's killer may not actually be revealed, but you probably already said that it was revealed at some point.
Or that he supposedly never existed. It was the town itself. No, I think that was further on in the notes.
Okay.
I'd still rather think that her killer is not revealed.
So you don't want the killer revealed?
Oddly enough, not really.
Okay.
As it sort of sets most of the stories and whatnot that are coming up with all the particular stuff, is showing a decent amount of drama, and it's sort of taking away from the actual thing of Laura Palmer's murder. It sort of leaves you the question of how everything else is going to go.
So, Dave, do you want the killer to be revealed?
It would be nice, but most likely with how things are going to be going around, it's going to be a question that's going to be completely left answered, and it's going to be, after a certain point in time, if they don't bother bringing it up, it's going to be like, oh, this is supposedly an important thing, but
I'd say the
not
mystery-
supposedly care about it.
The mystery behind it's more interesting than having it being revealed and dealing with things afterwards, after knowing that.
Blech.
Okay.
Because, like, everything else is kind of more interesting right now, and leaving Laura Palmer's death a bit more ambiguous makes it interesting.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective.
I think the only other particular thing we haven't discussed is Mr. Smith.
Yes. We get a reference, and Audrey leaves a note for Harold Smith.
Yes.
Who we know had some kind of relationship with Laura, but we don't know really any more than that at this point.
But it mostly seems the case that Donna's interested and intrigued with her thoughts of trying to figure out what happened to Laura by going to see the guy. And of course, with me, it's kind of hitting, red flag, girl, red flag, what you doing? You're going down the same path as Audrey.
There's a separate path, sort of, but as long as she's not going to One-Eyed Jack's.
Well, no, but she is going to the home of somebody who is, like, on some level mentally unstable.
Yeah.
I mean, that might not be the best thing to do. But anyway, who do you think the killer is after this episode? Dave?
As it still sits, it's most likely Bob in some sort of respect.
Okay.
I'm still going with, what's his face?
What's his face?
Not that what's his face.
Yes, nobody ever assumes that.
Mr.
was his
Horn.
face.
Ben
Ah.
Horn.
Horn, yeah.
Ben Horn. Alrighty. You have a particular reason for Ben?
I don't like the guy.
Fair enough. Okay.
He's an asshole.
Dave, you mentioned Bob as your prime suspect.
Yeah.
Do we think Bob is... do we think Bob did the murder himself, or is he...
I'll basically give it to you there. Bob, most likely within the certain representations of how the show's been showing it, is not a person. He is a force. He is a supposed thing around Twin Peaks that affects other people and does his bidding for him. So the specific person killed Laura Palmer, but Bob himself is the one that made them do it.
Okay, that's interesting. Alrighty, so do either of you have any questions for me? Keeping in mind, obviously, there are certain things I cannot answer.
What's with the creamed corn?
The creamed corn will come up again.
Okay. Great.
It always
So
seems to.
just because creamed corn?
No, shockingly enough, the creamed corn will become important. Sort of. This is the tricky thing about this, because if I tell you what the cream corn is, I can't, it'll spoil too much.
That's crazy.
It makes it makes supposed sense. Also, what's the relation between the general and the log lady?
Okay. So, while I don't remember there ever being anything stated about this.
Mm-hmm.
We are definitely going to get more about both of those characters. We are definitely going to get more about Major Briggs, and we are definitely going to get more about the Log Lady.
No, understandable. Mostly it's just kind of the thing that at the start, Log Lady sort of assumed of, oh, she crazy lady, she talked to a log, all that sort of stuff. The general listens to exactly what she says.
Yes.
Without any sort of particular concern.
And he doesn't question it.
Nope.
Most people would supposedly assume that's just his background of all that supposed information. But with him being in Twin Peaks, what sort of relation did he have with the log lady to sort of know she knows her stuff when she's talking?
I don't have an answer for you.
No, that's alright. It's mostly just kind of a thing of, it's a particular point of reference if I want to know, and it will most likely be explained in the next couple of episodes, supposedly.
I don't believe they're ever going to really delve into that. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe there's more brought up that I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I don't remember them ever really going over their history.
If it brings up at least some points to make somewhat of a diagram, yeah, I'm somewhat content in that.
The basic understanding by certain people in Twin Peaks is that the Log Lady has some type of psychic ability.
Nah.
Now, not everybody in town would necessarily believe that, but we would. Major Briggs would be one of the more believers.
Yeah.
And apparently, her telling him, or the log telling him to relay the message to him or to Cooper, he knew exactly what it meant and decided to do it.
Yes.
I think it was more so of a case of he kept that in mind, but actually get the records of all the particular stuff. It's like, oh, I need to tell that guy about this.
Okay, so what do we think about Major Briggs? Because we haven't had a whole lot of time with him.
Yeah, no, aside from the mild family scenes with him.
But now we're getting that his role in the military has something to do with space. At least that's part of his job.
I'm more so focused in on the radio waves of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the space aspect, right? They're recording the radio waves from space and whatever.
True space.
Where do we think his character's going to go? Do we think he's going to be important, or is this more of just like a distraction or a side story?
He did bring up one of the particular things the giant was saying.
Yes, he did.
So that leaves points of he's supposedly important. Not like super important, but something related to what he does is possibly going to be it. Mostly, as I sort of think, it's probably not going to be so much space related as it's going to be radio wave related.
Okay.
I think more may come up in the
Yes,
coming episodes. Who knows?
Bitte Buch.
You would know.
I would, and again, there's just certain stuff I can't give away without giving away major plot points in the future.
Busy.
So do either of you have anything left to add?
Not right now. Nope.
Nah, not at the moment.
Alrighty, well that is going to be episode 11 of Fire Walk with Us. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.
And Justin, very good.